Hey guys, today I want to talk about insurances. It's not my favorite subject to talk about insurance, even though we talk about it quite a lot. Um, and I want to talk about this because it's so important. And I'm working as a contributor now for Rich, and Rich is going to let me on the channel every once in a while, so you'll see me on here contributing to him. And so you'll still be seeing me once in a while on the Asian Info Channel 1. But today I want to talk about insurance because it's something that not everybody likes to talk about. People don't want to talk about life insurance. They don't want to talk about health insurance. They don't want to talk about renter's insurance or homeowners insurance or what have you. And and also car insurance, if you're driving. But it's a necessary evil in the Philippines that you need to have. If you drive a car, you need to have car insurance, and it's something you should have in the Philippines by all means. A lot of people just try to pay off the person with a few pesos or whatever, and the person usually walks away. But sometimes they don't, and sometimes something tragic could happen, or somebody could get killed or something like that, and you don't want to be uninsured and have that happen, or underinsured and have that happen. But also, that goes for health insurance too. Health insurance is very, very important in the Philippines to have some sort of health insurance, even if it's just a minimal health insurance. There's different levels that you can buy when you talk to the insurance agents. And if you're looking for any type of insurance, we have in our group, we have Michael Onstad. It's Onstad. And you can contact him on Messenger if you guys are interested. I'll also put the name in the description here so you guys can contact him. Michael is an expat that lives over here, and he takes care of everybody over here for all types of insurance. You can get car insurance, you can get renter's insurance, you can get homeowners insurance, you can get whatever type of insurance you need, you can get off of Michael. Michael carries it. But I want to throw that out there because in the Philippines, a lot of places will not give you good service. Michael gives you good service over here. And this is not a commercial for Michael. This is just the truth, okay? He sells Pacific Cross health insurance, and he sells all types of other insurances too, like renter's insurance, car insurance, all that. But I want to put this out there that if you don't have any health insurance over here, you're making a big mistake. And we've seen a lot of expats come over here without health insurance. Suddenly something happens to them, and they're in the hospital, and the hospital wants $5,000 to start doing something and actually it might even be to save your life. Now, a lot of these hospitals will not touch you unless they have some sort of guarantee that the bill is going to be paid, because they don't want to be spending all that money and be held responsible for a debt that's not their debt. And you cannot blame the hospitals. Let's face it. I mean, hospitals make a ton of money, but a lot of people over here, they try to walk out or sneak out or whatever from paying their bills. And it happens in some of these hospitals, and some of the hospitals are just kind of fed up with it. I think that's what's happening. Even though it's illegal to hold you, they'll still hold you if you're not paying your bill until in some way that it's settled or you have some sort of payment plan. And they make sure that they're going to get paid, trust me, or you're not going to leave. They just won't let you leave. A lot of hospitals try to hold you. And I've had quite a few of my friends have been held. I've been held personally too in a hospital and it was only a small bill. It was like $250, and I told them I was just going to run down to the ATM, and they said no. And some of you guys have heard that story before, but it happens so often here in the Philippines that I tell people just buy the insurance. Even if you buy a cheap insurance, you buy a 2 million peso insurance, you're covered up to almost $35,000 or $40,000 US or whatever. So you have some sort of insurance when something happens. Now, for me, my honest belief is this, that you need at least 100,000 insurance over here, and that pretty much will cover you for almost anything that's going to happen to you over here that's pretty catastrophic, unless you run into some rare form of cancer and you're trying to fight it. But every year that replenishes. It replenishes the 100,000. It's good till the end of the year. That's it. And then it replenishes at the beginning of the next year, I guess. I don't know if it's the actual beginning of the year or if it's the beginning. It depends. You have to talk to Michael Onset about that, how that works. So, but you want to be safe. You have to be safe over here. And I hate getting those phone calls when some of my friends are in the hospital or something like that, and you know that they're going to run into some problems because they have something major or catastrophic going on. I've had people down in Cebu tell me stories down there, and I've had a couple of people up north tell me some stories up there, and even some people, we've had some stories that even happened in the next town over with a friend of mine, who ended up passing away. A lot of people pass away in the hospitals here. You need to be in a really, really good hospital. And that's why I tell people, if you have a lot of health issues here in the Philippines, you want to live near Manila. You want to be near St. Luke's. You want to be near some of the better hospitals and scope out the best hospitals that there are and make sure the insurance will cover you in that hospital. Some hospitals, do not take Pacific Cross. Will Pacific Cross pay? Yes, but you're going to have to pay up front. Now, there are other insurances out there that you can use. You can look into those too, but I recommend Pacific Cross because we have an agent right here in country that'll stick up for you, and he's got your back. The agent that we use, like I said, is Michael Onstead, and whenever something happens, you call him when you're going into the hospital and say, I'm just letting you know that I'm going into the hospital just in case something happens. Michael has the ear of the company, okay? And he will help you with that, and that's a good thing to have that service, because a lot of times you'll call somebody here, and I've dealt with a lot of, not insurance service, but I've dealt with some of the services here, and some of the people just don't have a clue. And it's good to have an American that has your back over here. And, if you're dealing with Filipinos, there's language barriers, there's quiet quitting problems, where people, they're just sick of their job and they just don't want to work. They really don't want to help you. And that's the issues that we have over here in the Philippines as an expat. And Michael kind of takes care of that issue. He definitely is a person that will step in when, if you need help. So I just want that out there, that if you guys are looking for a good agent, an agent that you can call up, and Miles is his helper. Miles is like his right hand. Miles is the best. She's a really smart woman. She knows everything about the insurance. She can answer all your questions really well. Michael can answer a lot of your questions too. Some of them he hands back to Miles because Miles knows the answers to those questions about the different types of policies. Now, let me get a little bit into the policies here. There's what we call the peso plan over here, the expats call it the peso plan in the Philippines. It's basically paid, like you can buy 2 million pesos, 3 million pesos, 4 million pesos, or 5 million pesos worth of the coverage, okay? And then they have dollar plans too, which, you can get like $1 million worth of coverage or whatever it is, or $500,000 worth of coverage or whatever. You pay a lot more for that. The good thing about Pacific Cross is most of their plans pay the hospital directly. And if you're having a problem leaving the hospital, you can call Michael, and Michael will make the proper phone calls to make sure that your bills gets paid so you can leave. If you're not working through Michael and you got Pacific Cross, there's your problem right there. You need to work with Michael, and Michael will help you. If you have an issue and you're in a hospital and you're stuck in a jam or something like that, Michael will try to, get you bailed out and get you out of the hospital just by making phone calls to Pacific Cross and get you out. That's key and important over here. If a lot of guys will just walk into some insurance place and say, I want to buy health insurance, or I want to buy one of those insurance cards or whatever. And when something catastrophic happens, most of those companies don't want to deal with you because they know that they're going to be shelling out a lot of money, number one. And number two, a lot of them just don't care. They just don't really care about you as a customer, and I will say this, that I bought Pacific Cross before I even met Michael, and I switched from the person that I had to Michael as my agent, and not because the person I had wasn't really that good. It was just that I found she was just too busy to answer my questions sometimes, and I wasn't getting the answers that I wanted sometimes, and she was on a different adventure. She was a salesperson, but she didn't really know everything about the insurance enough, and she was studying to be, to go on in a different direction than just sell insurance. Although she still sells insurance to this day because her uncle is one of the agents, and she's also an agent too, but he was the one that had the agency. And I just wasn't getting the service. Good person, nice person and everything, but I just didn't feel like if something happened that she would have my back. But with Michael, I feel like he has my back. And I know that he has a lot of customers, but when something hits the fan, and you know what I'm talking about, that he's got your back. And that's key and important to have. And also when you go into these hospitals, you need to have a watcher, okay? And we've talked about that before too. The watcher is somebody that goes down and pays your bills, tells them information they may need, might take your Pacific Cross card down or whatever company you're using down to pay the bills or whatever, to tell them what's going on. This is who's going to pay the bills. You want to tell them in the beginning who's paying the bills. And they're going to ask you these questions anyway. So make sure that you tell them that you have insurance and you have a card. If you do have insurance. If you're going to pay it out of pocket, which I don't recommend self-insuring here anymore. I just don't, because things happen, and sometimes I had a friend of mine. I've mentioned this before, and he had cancer. His bill was totally for colon cancer was $40,000, and thank God he got treated, and thank God he had the money to pay for it. A lot of people don't have the money to go do that stuff. They just don't have it. So when you come here, first thing you need to do is get insurance, health insurance. A lot of people don't like it. I get it. They think that they're healthy as a horse, they're never going to die. But when you reach 60, things start happening. The engine starts breaking down. You might need an oil change every once in a while, but you need to get things fixed, and you need to take care of your health over here. That's number one, is your health. The other thing is renter's insurance. Get some sort of renter's insurance. God forbid somebody breaks in your house, you go on a trip or something like that. A lot of us expats travel a lot. Renter's insurance is cheap. It's really, really cheap. And if something happens, the roof leaks, there's a fire, there's a wire that burns up and smokes out your house and it damages all your clothes and everything. Or let's say there's a water leak or a pipe burst or something like that, and it sprays your computer, or you have a collection or something that you have, and somebody breaks into your house and steals half your stuff. What are you going to do? And take pictures of all your stuff. Take pictures of everything that's in your house. So either get, renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance. Both of them will cover you in an accident, or a typhoon hits, or earthquake hits, or something like that. You don't know what's going to happen. And make sure you have that earthquake thing on there too, because the Philippines is prone to earthquakes. It's prone to typhoons. Make sure that your thing has all the coverage for all those things so that you're safe. Next thing, your auto insurance. Make sure you're covered on your auto. Make sure you have enough insurance that you feel safe so you don't have to worry. I'd rather pay somebody a little bit of extra money so I can walk around with my head high, not worrying that I might have to, empty out my account or something to pay a lawsuit or something like that here in the Philippines. Because if somebody files a lawsuit against you, they may try to have you locked into the country or something. You might not even be able to leave because of the fact that you have to go to court. I'm not sure how that works here. Those are the things you have to worry about being a visitor in a foreign country, that you have to worry about these things. Buy the insurance. The next thing is have a good attorney. If you guys ever need help with an attorney, you can contact me. You can write to me at steven5975@yahoo.com and ask me for a good attorney, and I'll recommend a good attorney to you. But like I said, if you need insurance, Michael Onstad, Onstad. He's on Facebook Messenger. You can contact him on there, and I'll also put it in the description there too. But guys, get insurance. Get insurance. Get whatever you feel that you need. Get it. Especially the number one thing is the health insurance. Auto insurance, you want to make sure you have that. Scooter insurance, you want to make sure you have that. God forbid something happens. Life insurance, or at least $5,000 aside that somebody knows where you have it and they can get to it. God forbid you get killed. You want to have life insurance. You want to have some sort of money put aside, or some money somewhere, or a policy or whatever, so that when something happens to you, they can pay the funeral home to get you taken care of in your body, put wherever you want to have it. Whether it be in spread out on the ocean in ashes, or buried in a cemetery or whatever. But you want to make sure also that maybe your family gets taken care of and get something out of that also, so that when you pass away, they can adjust for a year or two and leave them possibly a few $1,000, $10,000, $20,000 to take care of themselves for the next 2 years while they readjust to life without you. And sometimes that can be really hard and difficult for people to readjust when an expat dies. I've seen a lot of these women suffer afterwards, even from breakups. Sometimes some of these people suffer because they're so used to living the expat life, living fairly decent. I mean, even a person over here living on an expat living on 2,000, to them it's it's living the rich life for them. For us, it's kind of normal. We're kind of used to that life. But when somebody comes out of poverty and they start getting adjusted to that, it's very hard to go back to living in poverty again. So you might want to consider leaving them a little bit of money or something, or leave them, something that they can take care of themselves. I mean, you don't want to leave the person that you loved in any kind of, situation because you passed away and she has to take up a collection to bury you when she needs to be taking care of herself too. I've seen that happen many times where people, expats, pass away and they left nothing to bury themselves. So the people have to take up a collection with the expats or the neighborhood or whatever to get the guy cremated and buried, and then they just throw the ashes in the ocean or what have you. It's usually the cheapest way out, But anyway, guys, I just want to talk about that today. I thought it was something that was really, really important, and it's something that I always push, okay? And it's something that we don't talk about enough, and I think a lot of vloggers need to talk about it more too. Also, is talking about insurance, and I know it's not. A lot of people say, "Oh, that's garbage. I'm not going to spend any money on insurance, Steve. That's thievery and all this stuff." I get it, but when you get sick, you need it. God bless, guys. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.